You may have heard that costs in Singapore are quite high, so a trip to there could become pricey if not careful. But don't worry friends, my wife and I went to Singapore earlier this year and found many ways to save a ton of money and stick to our budget. And guess what folks, we spent $0 on attractions. Today I want to share 4 money saving tips, and please stick around to the end to see some of the best attractions you can visit for free. Before jumping in, please hit that subscribe button to not miss out on more cheap travel and living abroad content. Okay, the first tip to save money during your travel in Singapore is that you have the option to sleep at the airport. For example, you can do this if your flight arrives really late at night, or when leaving Singapore if your flight is very early in the morning. So my wife and I arrived in Singapore late in the evening, almost at midnight, and we slept in the Changi airport. But guess what? It saved us a ton of money by not going to a hotel, but just for the first night. Not for our whole stay in Singapore. Honey, are you ready for a red-eye flight?
So tired.
I'm so pumped. I'm gonna try to get some sleep though.
Sleep in the Starbucks.
So we don't have a hotel for our first night. Technically it's our first night in Singapore, and see how it goes. Sorry babe. Also, just so you know, we were not the only ones doing that, and we're quite happily surprised to see many other people sleeping in the airport too, since it was so late at night. The nice thing is that the airport is super clean and spacious, with lots of places for my wife and I to choose from to get some nice shut-eye. I understand this tip may not be for everyone, but it is something we thought would be worth doing. We were in Terminal 4, which is actually disconnected from Terminals 1 to 3. So in the morning, we just took an airport shuttle bus over to Terminal 2 and walked over the link bridge to Terminal 1, where we saw the breathtaking Jewel Waterfall, which is a free attraction by the way. For the remaining nights, we stayed at a hotel in Chinatown. Some of the most affordable places to find a hotel in Singapore include Chinatown and Little India. Alright, tip number 2. Bring a reusable water bottle. The tap water in Singapore is safe to drink, and there are many places where you can simply fill up your reusable water bottle. For example, my wife and I frequently went to food courts and at the same time went over to a refill station to fill up our water bottles. This helped us save a lot of money that would have otherwise gone towards bottled water or other drinks. Also, for those of you who enjoy alcoholic drinks, just a heads up that Singapore is known for having expensive booze. So be mindful of when you're planning your trip, and remember that there are still places that may have discounts during certain parts of the day, and for women you can enjoy Wednesday's lady night. But at the end of the day, using a reusable water bottle allowed us to stick to our budget and stay hydrated and refreshed in the hot and humid temperatures you'll find in Singapore. Okay, on to tip number 3. Eat at food courts or hawker centers. In Chinese, these are called shiga, and are basically these awesome food courts spread all throughout Singapore and are cheap. You can get something to eat as low as 4 Singapore dollars, which is about $3 US. Tons of yummy options around 5 to 6 Singapore dollars, which is under $5 US. Pretty cool, right? I was surprised to hear this because I thought that Singapore was very expensive. This is much more affordable when compared to the cost of going to a restaurant. And we honestly loved going to these food courts and went to the famous Maxwell Food Center multiple times because the cuisine is both cheap and delicious. We also really love this Korean place. I mean, check out those prices. Now that's very affordable, especially in Singapore. And I want to say it's like a melting pot of different types of foods. Everything from Korean food to Malaysian, Chinese, Thai, and more. The environment is also really fun and clean. You can choose multiple things to eat and even add a fruit smoothie or something fun to drink. So friends, with a quick Google search, you should be able to find a food court near you or your hotel. This is something definitely to keep in mind and will save you a load of cash while traveling in Singapore. Okay, on to the next must know, which is public transportation. The MRT system is very robust and advanced in Singapore. Plus, you can basically get to all of the famous attractions your heart desires. As of 2024, Singapore's MRT system has 6 operational lines and a whopping 141 stations. So yes, I would recommend taking the MRT, but actually my wife and I didn't take it that much because we planned a walking route, you could say. We wanted to see the beautiful Garden City firsthand and walked between many iconic sites. That's something beautiful about visiting Singapore, is that you can walk many places. But of course, a good combination would be to take the subway, MRT, and walk too. You could take the bus as well, but the MRT tends tends to be really fast and affordable. You could buy single tickets, but those tend to add up if you plan to use the MRT many times. Two other popular options include the Singapore Tourist Pass or reloadable EZ-Link card. For the Singapore Tourist Pass, it's a special EZ-Link card that offers tourists unlimited travel on not only the MRT, but also for bus services and LRT trains for the duration that the card is valid. There are three options: the 1-day, 2-day, or 3-day pass. You'll want to check before you go on your trip, but as of right now, the 1-day pass is 17 Singapore dollars, 2-day is 24 Singapore dollars, and 3-day is 29 Singapore dollars. Just keep in mind though, if you do get the 2 or 3-day pass, it is for consecutive days. So once you buy it, you cannot skip days. It has to be consecutive days. Hopefully that makes sense. The second option is just to get a reloadable EZ-Link card, which can be picked up at a train station or a 7-Eleven for about 10 Singapore dollars. And half of that, $5, is non-refundable. Okay, so I mentioned previously that my wife and I spent $0 on attractions during our time in Singapore. And now I want to share with you some of the things you can do for free. Yes. Okay, let's jump into it. First up is that you can check out the Capita Spring skyscraper. It's the second tallest building in Singapore in downtown. We absolutely loved exploring the Green Oasis, which is a beautiful outdoor garden located on floors 17 to 20. You can walk up these floors and it's so cool because you're in the building but outside at the same time. Then you can head up to the Sky Garden on the 51st level. By the way, this is all for free and the gardens and view are breathtaking. From the 51st floor, you can see the famous Marina Bay Sands Hotel, the lotus-shaped Art Science Museum, Merlion, and more. It's open Monday to Fridays, excluding public holidays, from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. and in the afternoon from 2:30 to 6 p.m. The last admission is at 5:30 p.m. So remember when making your own trip plans that it is closed on Saturday and Sunday. Going into the building is free, but if it's busy, you may need to wait. To help avoid wait times, guests can book a time online. I'll make sure to leave a link for you in the description below. Next up is the Gardens of the Bay, which has a diverse collection of over 1.5 million plants. The great news is that most of it can be enjoyed for free, even though some places need a ticket, such as the Cloud Forest and the OCBC Skywalk. You can still take in the amazing scenery. I was blown away by all the greenery and beautiful flowers and plants. Within the Gardens of the Bay is the Super Tree Grove, which is free to visit. We went there and were honestly more impressed with the natural landscapes than the man-made trees. But still cool to see, and it's probably more stunning at night when the lights are turned on. There are also shows at 7:45 and 8:45 p.m. where you can experience amazing music and a light show. Depending on the time of year, there are different themes or different types of showings. For example, in October, it's the World of Fantasy theme. In November, Garden Waltz, and December, the Christmas Special. Okay, so another place definitely worth visiting that will not cost you anything is the Merlion Park, which features the iconic half-fish, half-lion Merlion that shoots water out of its mouth. The fish-like body symbolizes Singapore's origins as a fishing village, and the head represents the original name of the city, Singapore, or Lion City. It's a super fun place to chill at with incredible views of the Marina Bay and other famous buildings. Another place to visit for free that you may not have thought about is the airport. Yes, you heard that correctly. Although there are ways to spend money in the Changi Airport, with all of the shopping and restaurants, you can actually see some amazing things in there for free. In Terminal 2, there is the Jewel, the world's largest indoor waterfall that is surrounded by lush vegetation. It is quite a sight to behold. You can also enjoy various other gardens, such as the cactus or sunflower gardens, leisure areas, and playgrounds for the kiddos. Up next is the awesome free attraction of the Botanic Gardens, which is over 165 years old. Last but not least is that you can check out many free temples in Chinatown, Little India, and Arab Corner, which has, by the way, the breathtaking Sultan Mosque. We loved going there and seeing the beautiful mosque. Plus, there is a lot of creative and colorful artwork plus murals on the street. Definitely worth a visit. So I just touched on some of the things you can do and attractions to visit for free. I hope you can have a wonderful time both planning for your trip and during your time in Singapore while on a budget. To not miss out on more saving money abroad tips, please click the like and subscribe buttons and stay thirsty for travel.